1, chapter 2, chosen one, chapter 3, but you have a story that's way better than chapter 2. Mom, I mean, Carol, look, I brought Izzy. Whoa.
Hello. Sorry for the delay. I was looking for my tripod for my phone so I could go live on Insta.
Simple shape.
So give me a minute. Okay. Insta is good. How's everyone doing today? Lovely midday, midweek. Not midweek. Well, it is kind of midday. Midday, midweek. I know most people watch on the replay. So maybe you're having dinner at this time. Right now it's lunchtime. And I am not making a meal or anything like that, but I am making sourdough crackers for my kids, well, for all of us, because it's one of their favorite snacks, and it's very easy to do. And I had made a couple of batches to eventually make, and I put it away in the fridge, and now I'm like, let's make these. So everyone had a late breakfast, so that's why I'm not making lunch, because they literally just had breakfast probably 30 minutes ago, maybe 40 minutes ago. I don't know, it was recent. And for lunch they wanted pasta, but by the time we make lunch it'll be like dinner. So unfortunately we'll probably just have a snack, which I'm making, and then go into dinner. Sometimes we have days like that where it's just like roll out of bed, and if we don't have a like structured schedule to follow, a routine, which we do, which I'm going to talk more about in a minute, but today was kind of like one of those lazy days. We kind of all have that sometimes, where it's like I have a lot of things to do on my list, but you get so overwhelmed that you get stuck in thinking about those things, and then that kind of makes you default to not staying on routine.
Can I have the paper?
I don't know where there's paper right now. Just wait a minute, okay? So that's why I'm a huge fan of having a routine, but also knowing that there will be days like that where you kind of get off routine. But for me, having it versus not having it is a huge difference, and I can have those default days. When I'm feeling sick, when I'm feeling tired, when something uncommon arises, like last week I had just the dentist randomly say, hey, we have a cancellation and your appointment's not till June. Do you want to get seen? And so times like that, it's like, well, I do need to get seen, so I'm going to take the appointment, but that's not on my calendar today, and you just got to make adjustments. So, there will be days like that, and that's fine, as long as every day is not like that. That's when the chaos happens. That's when we get really stressed out, and I don't like feeling stressed out. I don't think anybody here can raise their hand and say they like feeling stressed out, but there's ways to prevent it. So back into the whole routine. We do have a routine. We get up in the morning, we do our exercise, we have our breakfast, and then we start school. And then, we have about, on a good day, 3 hours of school. Everybody's going crazy, the energy's flying, lots of distractions, just working with kids in general, we can have a 5-hour day of school. Not because we're doing 5 hours straight, it's because of the interruptions and hiccups, and I'm hungry, I gotta pee, I gotta do this. 2020 questions. If you're a mom, you know what I'm talking about. So that prolongs the school day instead of being done at the time that we set to be done. And that often happens. So I make space for that because they're kids. I can't, stop that from happening. I can certainly direct, but, there will be days like that. So a routine definitely just helps everything stay in check. It helps the kids. for sure. But today we're having an off day because I have a big, huge to do on my list. I have to get our taxes done. And, the date is approaching for that. So I kind of was like, well, I'm going to take school off for today just so I can get that done. And then we'll resume. So, hey, Nicole. Hey, Tabby. How are you? Just talking about basically how today's a crazy day with us starting the day late. Certainly didn't wake up late. I think we woke up around 7:30, 7:40, but it was just like the getting started. I've had those days where I just can't get started because of whatever. I didn't have a good night's sleep. Most of the time it's because I didn't have a good night's sleep. Or just there's a pressing matter on my mind. I find that can be the case a lot of times. So it's just a matter of working through that. But I think once I have the taxes done, I'll feel a whole lot better, and I won't have these days. Oh my gosh, my child is screaming for me. I don't know if you can hear her. She always does this, and always at the wrong time. Gotta love it. So anyways, like I said, I'm making my sourdough crackers right now. These are just the salted ones. My daughter devours these. And I make 3 different flavors. I make a cinnamon one and a cheesy one. And she somehow likes the salty one the best. I thought she was going to like the sweet one the best. But nope, she likes the salt. So I try to keep up with it so they can have, this snack. Anyways, if you're watching live, let me know what you're up to. Maybe you're having lunch because it is noon. And let me know what you're eating if you are having lunch. I don't know if you could see my plate. I know Facebook can't because of the angle. Oh, and because of the background thing. Darn it. Well, I already have one tray done. They're a little irregular. I didn't cut them all the same, but they're crackers. So I was like, I don't care. But if you are local to Clayton, North Carolina, I am going to be selling these at a homeschool farm event. I think that's what it's called. Me and the kids together. It's supposed to be a family thing. And I'm going to be cutting them regular. So I won't be doing these shapes. Right now I just do like rectangles. I'll be doing Easter bunny shapes because it'll be Easter. It's the day before Easter. So make it fun. That's what we're going to be doing. But we do have a really busy Easter weekend. We have that thing, a field trip on Friday, a birthday party, and then Easter, of course. And then my mother-in-law's visiting for that weekend. So it's going to be jam-packed for us. But in other news, my birthday is coming up next week. So I'm super excited about that. And I have so many things planned for my birthday because it's a big birthday. It's the big 40. And I was like, I don't care. I want to celebrate and I want to do all the things. So I actually have 3 celebrations going on between different groups of friends and family. And then I'm going to be hanging out with a couple of girlfriends on different nights. So basically all week of my birthday week, I'm going to be doing something. So you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait.
No.
Yes, you have to.
No.
So anyway, so I am spoiling myself because no one else will. So I'm taking the initiative to do that and have some non-kid time. That'll be nice. And if you hear my child, she is demanding of me right now. So, anyways. Do you hear her? She's too funny. She's like, come over here. Don't just ignore me. And she's a handful. Mommy's doing a live. Yes, I am. Oh my gosh, I can't with this child. I'm gonna try to do this quickly. Be back. That's the hard part of parenting. Trying to do things and then your kids yelling at you to do what they want. Oh, the joys. Oh, the joys. I see Nicole. Now I'm home and can type. Oh, okay. All right. I was like, why is it so silent? Anyways, my daughter was demanding me to go wipe her hiney because she went potty, and she will not relent. She is very relentless when it comes to that, and she only wants me to do it, and it's an annoying thing right now that we're dealing with. But that was all of what that screaming was about. So anyways, so what I did was I prepared my dough ahead of time. Sourdough, you prepare it the night before or a time that you can do the whole waiting process. So I had 2 batches. This is my second batch. So you can see what it looked like before I cut it up. All right. And then I rolled it out with a rolling pin.
Hi, I was unicorn.
You are naughty.
I'm sorry to be naughty. I can't want to foul you, but...
All right, go over there, please.
Okay.
I'm not happy with you. What was I saying? Rolled it out, and I used a pizza cutter to make the lines and get all these individual shapes. That day when I doing the one before Easter, I'll be using a cookie cutter for it. So I'll just cookie cut the shapes. But this is so much quicker. So if I'm not doing anything special like that, it's just boom, 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 boom. Lay it out on a baking sheet. And I'm just going to get oil to, usually I have a spray, but my spray bottle broke. I need to get a new one. It's like one of those spray bottles that you can use your own oil and spray instead of using like the commercial air pump ones. So I'm just going to use a pastry brush to put it on since I don't have my spray. And then I sprinkle the salt. And then I stick it in the oven, which is already preheated and ready to go. So I need oil. I need salt. My salt's right here. My oil. Check. Got everything now. And then these are going to go in the oven. And then they'll get nice and crispy and be a nice snacky, as my kids call it. My kids call their snacks snacky. Mommy, can I have a snacky? That's what they say. Drive me nuts because they could live on snackies. They eat snacks like it's going out of style. So anyways, so yeah, the whole thing I wanted to talk about today was routines, because I literally feel like my life is really different when I'm not following a routine, and I can actually get into like that slump of like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I can't do this, or I feel like I have no energy, no drive, no motive to do this. And the more I'm out of my routine, the more I can get like that. And some of you might relate as you're hearing this, like, yeah, I've gotten out of my workout routine, or I've gotten out of like following my nutrition regimen, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're counting carbs, whether you're following a specific diet, whether you're just trying to eat more whole foods and healthy. If you're not being, I don't want to use the word strict, but I don't know another word for it. But I guess intentional is another word for it. If you're not being intentional with that and creating this routine that you can just follow like clockwork, that can happen. And most of the time, I'm going to say probably 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. And I've heard it time and time again, not only from myself, but from other people, other women that I've worked with, or just other women in general that I've spoken to, that's generally what happens. And like so, if you think about it, when you have your kid on a routine, they more than likely will stick with that routine. That's why we create routines when it's, comes to our children. But then why don't we follow that for ourselves? Why don't we have a bedtime routine or a morning routine or a homeschooling routine or a exercise routine? Everything in our life can have or should have structure. It should. And although I tell you, like today, we're off our routine, that's okay. We're human. And I would think that if somebody had a routine or strict schedule and they didn't veer off it from time to time or do a variation of it because of circumstances, but still allowed themselves to accept that and then keep going, meaning like just because we're off our routine today doesn't mean we're going to be off our routine tomorrow. That's like the biggest thing. You can't let yourself keep making the excuse that, oh, I don't feel like it today. Oh, I don't feel like it tomorrow. Oh, I don't feel like it Wednesday, because then you're just going to get back into that cycle. So you want to make sure that you are clear about what is the intention for the day if you're not following the routine. And that's exactly how I go into the day if we're not going to follow our routine. It's like, okay, what is the intention for today? What is the goal? What are we going to accomplish? Even though we didn't wake up at this time, even though we didn't start school at this time, even though we might have skipped breakfast. We didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't like, I decided, you're not having breakfast. I'm not having breakfast. That wasn't the intention at all. We literally, what did we do this morning? Oh my gosh. I know we sat down together to make a meal plan for the week. I like to do that with my kids. I like to keep them involved because, kids tend to be picky with their foods. And I feel like in my experience, the more choices I give them, the more they feel like they're in charge of what they're eating and what they're doing. The more compliant they are with actually eating their food. And they're more eager to try new foods and stuff. So we write out our meal plan for the week. And that also gives me a little more freedom in like not asking them every single day, right? And I'm just making what's on the meal plan. We already discussed this, right? What else did we do this morning? I know we had some cleaning up to do, which was really important because sometimes this house can get pretty messy and it's just tough. Like the other day, it was yesterday actually, kids had stuff all over the floor and I slipped on one of them. And thankfully, I was able to hold on to something that I didn't fall. But right now, not because of my age, but because of my health condition, I can't fall. Like I can't afford to fall. That could land me in the hospital. So I was really upset about that. And I was like, you cannot leave your stuff on the floor because mommy could have got really hurt. And so one of the things we discussed last night before we went to bed was that in the morning, you're going to clean your rooms. And so they knew that. So yeah, so sometimes just things will veer off because of certain circumstances. And for a while, for a while, I had a hard time with that because I did not want to veer off having a routine. I was like, oh no, I can't, because if I get off routine, then, this goal won't happen or this won't work or I'll get down on myself, whatever. But I learned that I was more frustrated about not staying on course with my routine, more angry, more anxious, more feeling like a failure than when I gave myself like the grace days. I don't know what better word to give it. Maybe I'll come up with something inventive for that. But
this is a reminder.
Just like a day that you're like,
Just
all
let
right,
me know if this is
having
done.
grace myself, still gonna have goals that I'm gonna achieve, but it might not be like yesterday or might not be like tomorrow, and I'm gonna get back on track. Like it doesn't mean like this is gonna be this way every single day. It just means like today this is how it's working out, and I'm gonna make it work for me. I'm gonna make it work for us. So we're still gonna have school, even though we didn't start at 9. Usually I like to start at 9. It's 12:30, so we're gonna have a later school, maybe a little more condensed and smaller time. We're still gonna have our meals, just it's kind of gonna be shifted to later for each meal. And we're still gonna do our activity, like our exercise, and pick foods that serve our bodies. It's just not at the time frames that I like to have every single day. And that happens. Also happens when we have field trips. You know, the routine is a lot different, and we talk about that and we figure it out. But we don't let ourselves get into this slump where we can't get out of. And that was like my life, even when I was dealing with my weight and being at my heaviest. I would always get into a slump of feeling depressed, thinking I wasn't worthy, thinking I could never lose the weight. I literally thought that. Feeling always tired, thinking that this was just going to be it, and I'm never going to have sleep again, which, don't get me wrong, I have tons of challenges with sleep, mostly related to my kids because they, number one, always want me to cuddle them in bed. 2, they always land in my bed, no matter what. And then like times when they get sick or I'm sick and it's just interfering. So, but I've embraced, even though I get frustrated, I've embraced that they're only little for so long and this will fade away. So I, make the most of it and try to keep up with our bedtime routine, which is getting to bed earlier, which has been a challenge. But I can honestly say we're getting to bed earlier now. I'm so happy. So happy we have gotten back to an earlier bedtime routine and sleeping in a little bit. And that has made a difference. So like I was telling you, for the longest time, we were going to bed super late and I couldn't get them out of that because they were just used to going to sleep that late. And it was killing me. And I'm like, we need to get back. We need to get back. We need to get back. And then I was like, all right, we're just going to create this routine. And I even sat down with them. I'm like, this is what time we're going to start getting ready for bed. And this is what time you need to be in bed. And we're going to still have our cuddles and everything like that, but we need to be in bed early. So now they're falling asleep around 9:30, which even though a lot of people probably have their kids going to bed at 8, that would be something I'm aspiring to, but it beats midnight. Midnight was what we were going to bed. So 9:30 is so much better than midnight. And, we're still working on it little by little. That's just our aspirations. That's what we're working toward. And the same thing, you have to have a vision for yourself when it comes to your health, when it comes to if you're trying to lose weight, is like, let me start somewhere. And I said that to myself too when I started losing my weight. I wanted to just lose the weight fast. But honestly, every time I did lose the weight fast, I put it right back on. And 2, I was getting into the keto diet at that time. And when I very first started, I didn't just all in go keto. Like I wasn't, no carbs at all. And I actually just did little steps to eventually get there. So my first step was just removing like refined carbs. So I was taking away like the pastas and breads, but I was still having like my fruits and some, was I having some? I don't think I did have. I think maybe just the fruits. I'm not sure. I just know that I was taking things away little by little. And then I like took the sugar away. And then, little by little, I eventually got to keto, but I just didn't go into it all in. And so like maybe you right now are thinking of trying a diet. And I think diets for me It does have like a negative connotation in like the health and fitness culture, right? But I think diets are a great thing to use as a tool for your weight loss, but it's not your savior. It's not the be all end all. It's not the thing that you just like, this is what's going to save me. Actually, it's your behaviors and thoughts behind the diet that you're following that needs the real change and transformation. Is not just this diet is my savior, because you can follow any diet, and honestly you can lose weight because there's some kind of change going on, maybe a decrease in calories or whatnot. But if your behavior and thought process behind it doesn't change, that's why you're putting the weight back on after you lose it, because you're like, well, I can go back to the way I ate, or well, I'm still not, still don't look good, or like there's different things that we say about ourselves or behaviors, or we just want to eat when we're feeling tired or alone or sad or whatever. If those behaviors don't change, then the diet's only going to do so much, and then you're going to find yourself on this kind of revolving wheel. And so that's my specialty. My specialty as a weight loss coach for moms is not, I'm going to teach you a diet and this is going to be your savior and you're going to lose weight and yada, yada. Or I'm going to teach you this exercise and this is going to be your savior and you're going to lose weight and you're on your way. That's not what the basis of my programs are. Yes, I will introduce you to some tools, I like to call them, like fasting is a tool. Doing a reset. We do a reset in our program. That is a tool. Following a specific diet is going to be based on you, your needs, and what serves your body well. So not everybody is doing the same thing. But I do have a formula that I follow that is very helpful for people. That it's called the Perfect Plate Protocol. And it's really easy to follow. And it's not a diet, but it follows a lot of like a mixture of rules from different diets that kind of just go well together without feeling like you're eliminating stuff or that you're not enjoying your food. So anyways, so we do go through those things. We do talk about food. We talk about diet. We talk about exercise. And I encourage you to do different types of exercise. But that's not the main focus of how I get my clients success. It's the behavior change. It's how you talk about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you feel when you're eating your food and how you feel after you're eating your food, what things you're dealing with health-wise. Like a lot of people deal with bloating and indigestion and stomach issues, constipation, that's a big one, and just hormonal health. And so those are kind of like my primary tiers of how I help women gain success in losing weight and keeping it off. And that's like the biggest thing, keeping it off. So anyways, routines is kind of like that segue, because once you figure out, this is how I should be eating, and this is what I want to be doing for exercise, and this is how I'm going to work on certain behaviors, certain habits, I need to keep a routine to keep myself in line with all those things. And so we work routines into that while hitting those main pillars and getting to you more freedom, more freedom in what you eat and how you feel. And it makes a huge difference. So anyways, that's my spiel for today. I hope it was helpful. If you are interested in losing weight in a better way that's healthy, that deals with some of these triggers that you deal with on a regular basis, the busyness of mom life. As you can see, I'm not perfect. I have a busy mom life as well. My kids are constantly in the background of my lives. If you've been on another live before, any of my lives, you have seen them interrupt me, scream, chaos in the background, sometimes even pants down, just, total chaos. It's not perfect over here, but I have learned to kind of manage all those things in a way that, it just works without getting to that point of overwhelm. I think there's a lot of overwhelm in our lives that we don't know how to deal with, or we're dealing with it the wrong way. And I'm just going to say, if I can do this, you can do this. I lost 76 pounds and kept it off for the past 3 or 4 years. I don't even know what year we're in. What year are we in? 2022, 3 years. So I want the same for you guys. So if you're looking to start that journey, like I said, in a healthy way and not having to rely on diets or exercise as your savior, because it isn't. It is not. Then I'm your girl. So let me know. I have 2 programs currently running, and I'm actually going to be running my 3-day event. I haven't set on a date yet, but if you're interested in that, I'll give you the details. All right, everyone. I'm going to sign off and put these yummy crackers in for my daughter. Well, it's for all of us, but she's the one that eats them the most. Like, she eats them quicker than everybody, I should say. So I have to like keep up with her. But those are going in, and then I'm going to start on my second batch here. This one's going to be a cinnamon one for the second batch. Ew. Is that what I think that is? Ugh. Anyways, I got to clean up. But it was nice seeing you all. Thanks for hopping on. And I will be back next Wednesday at noon for another In the Kitchen with Stephanie. Bye. Oops. Got to end 2 lives here. Bye.